Hello, Aries. Welcome to your February 2023 Tarot card and Astrology readings. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. For those of you who are new, my name is Jane. Thank you all so much for being here. So as always, each month we have both a tarot card reading and an astrology reading. And the timestamps for each segment will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below. You're welcome to watch for your sun, moon, or rising sign. And if you're here for love, don't forget to check out your Venus sign as well. If you are a subscriber on my website, janeinternational.com, please do not forget to log in to access the comprehensive reading. And if you would like more information on how to join, please see the description box in the comment thread down below for all the info. All right, let's go ahead and get into the reading. Hello, Aries. Welcome to your February 2023 tarot card reading. So we are going to get started with a card from my intuitive deck just to open up the channel here. Let's just see what comes through for you, Aries, to start with for February. Okay. I'm loving the floral quality that I'm getting from this. I feel that there is something blossoming really, really beautifully, but it is going to require effort, okay? It's going to require you to meet with new people, have new types of conversations. You're going to have to, really go beyond what you've been doing. And we all have our little comfort zones. Every single person on the planet, we all have our little comfort zones. And it's now really, really time, okay, it's beyond time for us to start operating beyond that, to grow economically, financially, romantically, to grow professionally in all areas. And it is going to require other people to help this grow. I don't necessarily see this as being reliant upon others, but I don't know if you're going to be connecting with people for the sake of new ideas or for the sake of strategy, for the sake of just consultation, advice in general. There's a lot that you are going to have to do on your own for this. With Jupiter in that first house there, a lot of energy and effort and emphasis on what it is that you are capable of doing yourself. But Mars in the third, Sun in the 11th house, there's going to have to be some kind of a community that's involved here, okay? The growth that you could potentially experience over the course of the next several months because of the choices that you make today is going to boggle your mind. All right. There's this opening scene of this show called Ozark, and you can actually just go on YouTube. If you don't want to watch the show, you can just go on YouTube, type in season 1, episode 1, opening scene, Ozark. It's like a 3-minute clip. And he talks about, and I love that clip. It's so motivating for me. It's like talks about money specifically and how money can be seen as a measure of our choices. So you can swap money for any other thing that you're thinking about right now. But when you start looking at your life as a measure of your choices, now maybe not everything, but certain things, it starts to really make you think of things really, really, really differently. Like if you're in a home, like a house that maybe you're not that happy with, or in a neighborhood that you're not that happy with, or you have a car that you're not that happy with, that may be a measure of the choices that you're making. Now that may be good, that may be bad, but I think right now Aries is very much determined to start making really, really good decisions, the types of the decisions that lead to exponential growth, or to put themselves in a position where they can experience exponential growth. So involving other people, their expertise, their ideas, their creativity, their perspectives, their opinions, all of it does seem to be incredibly lucrative for Aries. Beautiful. What does the universe need from you right now? Justice. Now, we know that this is a card that symbolizes the zodiac sign of Libra. Now, Libra is very much about those one-on-one connections. Now, we don't have planets in Libra right now, but we do have Jupiter opposing Libra. We have the Sun and Mars both in a trine with Libra. And on the 11th of February, Mercury comes into Aquarius, therefore also trining with Libra. So when it comes to having these relationships, they do not have to be romantic. Okay, these could be all different types, but it's the one-on-one connections, it's the advice and the information that is given to you that is going to help you, but you have to be really open to it. This is not a time, now I'm not saying this is a character trait of Aries. I think we are all guilty of this from time to time in our life, but it is not the time for you to think that you know best. Okay? It's not the time for that type of attitude or approach. The more humility you can bring to this task or this endeavor, and the more willing you are to truly learn something, that is what is going to be like really essential for you to experience this abundance that you're seeking. Now, the Justice card may also indicate a commitment that you are needing to fully commit to something. Okay, this is not about 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Now, sometimes the Justice card can signify operating within the gray zone, meaning no commitment. However, I feel that if you are genuinely wanting this to start to blossom, your endeavor to start blossoming, you have to be all in. Okay, and I think being all in is actually going to create a new degree of harmony for you. Okay, you'll feel more at peace. I think by maybe halfway doing something, you feel torn in half because you're not seeing the abundance from this endeavor over here, but it's also taking enough time and energy and resources away from these other things, and therefore nothing is really getting all of you. And when nothing is getting all of you, you feel torn in half. We don't want people to be feeling torn in half right now. We need that unification internally. So fully committing to an endeavor or a goal and doing whatever you can to open yourself up to as high quality of advice as you possibly can get is going to be really, really beneficial. So what's over in your environment, or should I say whom? Whom? I never know the difference between when to use who or whom. Who's over there? We have the Knight of Wands. Now, he showed up for Pisces, I think, too. I think it was Pisces. Could have been Aquarius. But I really enjoy the power and the enthusiasm and the excitement that the Knight of Wands is really bringing to the table here. Because this is someone who is just really charged by life. Okay, they enjoy adventure and learning and growth. They're very future focused. Okay, this is not someone who sits there and dwells and concerns themselves with the past. Because of that, they are usually healthy and optimistic, and they feel like there really isn't anything that they cannot do. Now, I'm not saying they don't have their bad days. They are still a human being after all. But there is a certain electricity, and we can see he's got the lightning bolts kind of coming down from him here. He does have a quality of electricity. Now, Aries, I think you will respond very, very well to this type of person, because this type of person makes you believe that you can do anything. Makes you believe that this is within the realm of possibility for you. And any limitations in terms of how you think, how your mind is working, any limitations at all are going to completely fly out the freaking window. And the only thing by the end of February, if you do in fact reach out to other people, I don't think isolation is a good idea for Aries right now. Okay, I don't think being in your houses, locked in, not going out with friends, I don't think that's a good strategy. I genuinely feel the more human connection that you have right now, the better your 2023 is going to go. Okay? This is someone that may not be a permanent presence in your life. They may be coming in briefly to get this spark going for you. Like they are here to light your flame, if you will. It's kind of like that. Like when I light my candle, right? I use little matches right here. I just use regular little matches to light this candle. And every time I light this candle, I think of that analogy where I think it's a Rumi quote or something like that. Where if you have something that is lit on fire and you light something else, you light a candle, it doesn't mean that the flame on this match is going to lose anything by giving fire to this wick here. And I feel like that's what they're doing for you, right? They're not going to lose out on this at all. The only thing that's going to happen is that Aries is going to gain. Okay? You have to be open to this though, Aries. It's very, very important that you're willing to let the inspiration come to you through another person. This person does not care what you do with your life. They do not care. They don't care if you go and succeed, and they don't care if you go and fail. They don't care if you try. They don't care. Like they just simply don't. Like they are too excited about life to spend it caring about whether or not you're going to make the best choices for yourself. Like they're not, they are on a full speed mission here, and they are not about to stop just because someone is afraid of trying something new. Okay. So this is kind of like a blessing. I feel that Knight of Wands is a blessing. This may be someone that you just see on social media. You may not have like a actual person come into your life. It may be someone, maybe you start reading their books, you start listening to their podcast. Maybe it's someone with a YouTube channel, whatever the case may be, or it could be an actual person. Okay. Could be someone you're dating. It could be someone, that you meet at a social event and they tell you something very profound, whatever the case is. But be on the lookout for that, because it could be life-changing. Yeah, Nine of Swords. Because I feel that there's a debilitation going on right now, that there are certain circumstances that... Now, I'm not saying the circumstances are even necessarily bad. Like, let's say you have this incredible career that requires tons and tons of time, but maybe you just found out that you have some kind of an illness, okay? Or... I don't know, maybe you're pregnant. Like maybe you got pregnant and that completely changes the plan. Now, just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you can't like work hard. Just because you may have an illness doesn't mean you can't also work hard. It just means you may need to redirect that hard work to something else. Again, I'm using very vague examples here. Everyone is going to have a different situation. But I do think this may be a little blown out of proportion. I don't feel that where you are going is problematic. What is problematic is what it is that you are afraid to let go of in order to get there. That is what is really scary for you, it feels. But when I look ahead, Four of Wands, it seems, well, like, what are you really afraid of? You're afraid of stability. You're afraid of security. You're afraid of fun and family and festivities. And you're afraid of what? Building a beautiful home or a big empire or a big business, or I honestly don't really see the connection here. There seems to be a projection, but I think the projection is coming from something from the past. But with the Six of Cups reversed, there is an indication that you need to let go of that thing from the past. The thing is I think you know it. This is why you have to get out and socialize, because the more and more people you speak to, and I'm talking about different people. I'm not talking about the people that you like go to work with every day. You know, I'm not talking about your neighbor that you gossip with at the mailbox every day or whatever the case is, all right? Not those people. Like if you are, let's say you're a freelancer, okay, this might be a really good time to go to like a convention or an event specifically catered to that industry. Or maybe there's like a big charitable event going on in your community, and maybe you can buy tickets to go to that, or, you know, something along those lines to push you. I think it really is about being pushed. Aries can get really competitive like that. Like when life puts them in a situation where they are required to evolve, it almost turns into a competition with themselves. I like that quality for you right now, because that might be what it takes. This can be really, really hard to move away from. And there can be a lot of sadness or a lot of depression or a lot of anxiety. But again, it's not about what's coming for you. Because as far as I can tell with these cards, there is beauty in store for you. There is abundance. There is stability. This has to do with the past and a projection of the past onto the future. But what I see with the Knight of Wands is that he is very disruptive to those thought patterns. Very disruptive. And the Knight of Wands, in a way, is not going to allow you to perpetuate those old thought patterns. And I really like this for Mercury coming into Aquarius as well. Okay, Mercury having just finished its retrograde in Capricorn on the 11th, it comes into Aquarius. So I feel that that revolutionary mindset starts to come out to play, that is going to be beneficial not only for Aries, but for a lot of people. So we have the Two of Coins. What else for Aries? Okay. Six of Wands. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. Four of Wands, Six of Wands, Aries, there's success in this endeavor. It's just a matter of prioritizing it. And I like the fact that this came out with Justice, because it indicates that process of prioritization, that full commitment. Now, this is the Hermetic Tarot, right? And so they do have a lot of symbols on here. And they have the planet Venus, obviously the ruler of Libra, but they also have the planet Saturn, which is the exalted planet in Libra. So if we come at this from a more Saturnine approach, or through the Saturn lens, yes, there's work, but let's not forget that Saturn really is about harvest. It is about reaping the reward. Reaping the reward for your life experiences, reaping the reward for your education, what you've put into that. Saturn doesn't really want you to fail. I always equate him to like a coach. All right, people may have heard me say this like in my private readings or whatever, but Saturn is like a coach where, yes, he'll tell you that sucked, do it again, do it faster, do it better. He's going to correct you. He's going to pick you apart and make sure that you are doing it perfectly. But it's so that you can win. Aries, this is so you can win. Okay? And this reprioritization process that you're going in, you have to know what it is that's really calling to you. And even if you have had certain life events or certain circumstances show up, like I say, like a pregnancy or an illness, or there was a change in a relationship status, or you moved to a new city, or anything like kind of dramatic or big or life-changing like that, reprioritizing to the new thing may not necessarily be exactly what you envision for yourself, But again, Four of Wands, Six of Wands, there's either an improvement of a current situation, or there is like, if you're starting from scratch with something, it really is only going up for you. It really is only going up. Page of Wands is here to remind you that it's okay to take it step by step, because you are going into a uncomfortable zone. This is that incredible resistance that you are feeling against it. And there's all these reasons, probably all these reasons. I don't want to say excuses, because that feels a little, it doesn't feel right. I don't feel that these are excuses. I feel that there are valid reasons. You don't have the money in your account. You don't have the right, setup. You don't have this. You don't have, there are reasons. Okay. But in spite of the reasons, that Page of Wands is still going to move forward. He's still making his way into the desert, into this completely unknown terrain. And he is doing so with excitement and enthusiasm. And there does seem to be a curiosity coming through with Aries as well, that you do seem to be curious about what's on the other side of the Nine of Swords. Curious about what life could be like. Curious about, well, could this be my new life? All those types of things. What else for Aries? Let's see. We have the Queen of Cups. Another page. And the King. Okay, so I really, really like the Queen, the King, and the Page all down here. I like it because at least there's, with the same suit, both being cups, there's a very natural compatibility between these two people. Their backs are to one another, and yet there is still a connector, right? That Page of Cups is clearly connecting these two people. Now, as you are embarking upon this whole new thing, it may be a pretty substantial shakeup for another person. If you go full in on something, and you're married, or you have a spouse, or you have a significant other, or you have a child, or you have a boss, or whatever the case is, I feel that there is a leaving them behind, but you're not really leaving them behind. It's just that you are shaking things up, and they are in the position where they are forced to accommodate. And they may not be ready mentally and emotionally to fully do that, creating a little bit of a disconnect. I don't want to see Aries pumping the brakes on stuff. Now, the Page of Wands, it doesn't necessarily indicate speed. I do not see a massive amount of speed for Aries right now, although there is an acceleration. Now, an acceleration doesn't necessarily mean you have to really push super hard to get everything done all right away, go, 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 go. But it does mean that you have to start accelerating in that new direction, and you have to start giving more and more and more time to that endeavor so that it can flourish. And because of that reallocation or that redirection, someone clearly is feeling, I kind of want to say, left out, left behind, forgotten. They feel like they're not a part of it. They feel like they can't help. They feel like it has nothing to do with them. And so when I look at this Page of Cups, I see a conversation at minimum, which probably is going to be, just like, I just need this time, something like that. but I don't see the complete separation of this connection by any stretch of the imagination. So please don't be worried about that. I feel that there is a really stubborn person here who takes a long time to adjust. They will adjust. Just want you to know that. Okay, they will adjust. They will come around. They will see the good in it. If you have, start having success the way I'm seeing in this spread, they'll start to be like, okay, all right, I get it now. I get it. I understand it. It makes sense to me. It feels right to me as well. I'm more okay with it. This is kind of one of the downfalls of like co-creating with another person, because you don't always have control over another person, right? You don't. You can't always force, we shouldn't be forcing anyone to do anything, but you know what I mean? It's like you're not always going to be on the same page. But I think it's important for a conversation to happen of like, I'm not abandoning you. Just because I'm going and doing this doesn't mean I'm abandoning or leaving you. I'm doing this for us. Now, again, this might not be a lover, maybe someone else, but their world is going to be highly impacted by it. Now, I am sensing kind of a head-heart thing going on. Logically, when you explain it, it makes sense to them. And if you were to sit down and have a conversation, they would make you think like, yes, I'm totally on the same page. I understand why you're doing it. Go for it. I support you. I love you. And I want all of this to work out for you. But I need you to know that there is an underlying heart thing happening. Their heart feels fear. Their heart might feel threatened, or especially if this other person might have some kind of an abandonment wound or trauma, it may be triggering them that way in a way that maybe you don't see. I don't think they would show it to you. With his back turned, I feel that this is very, very strong. I feel that this is you, by the way. This is a card of Cancer. Cancer for you rules your 4th house. It's a cardinal sign. So I feel strongly that this is you. You have the eye on the Holy Grail here. You're the one trying to bring out this treasure in your world, trying to improve your life, all of that. And so again, you're the same suit. So the compatibility is good. The emotional connection is good there. But this is just, there's a side of them that they're not going to show you. There's a secretive quality coming out. I think you can intuitively feel it, but there could be a contradiction. If you sit and have a conversation and your partner or whoever this is says, I totally get it. Go for it. I love you. I want to see you succeed. This sounds great. Go, go, go. But then something still feels off, because it may still feel off. Just know that there's an insecurity that is kind of festering within them, and they might not even really be that aware of it. But it can be easily mitigated by inclusion, including them, asking them for counsel, asking them for their advice, all of that type of thing. They do not want to tear you down, and they don't want to stop you. I think it's important for you to know that. They want you to succeed. So they will be there, but I think asking them to be there is going to be a big part of it as well. You need to ask. You need to invite them. Okay? Now, if they are creating problems, which I don't see in the cards, but for some of you, if this other person is causing problems, probably a really, really emotional and psychological conversation is going to be warranted. And if you know that there's something deeper, you can dig and you can get it out of them. They probably would be willing to share. They probably do have this transparency, probably hard for them to hide. And then you can get to the crux of the issue, okay? All right, let's pull out the clarifiers. This is a really powerful reading for you, Aries. For those of you who are new, the cards I'm about to pull out are the clarifiers that we will cover in the comprehensive reading. The link for that will be found in the description box down below. We usually talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all of these cards. So we go pretty deep into this reading. So let's take a look here at the... Oh gosh, hold on. I just dropped a whole bunch of cards. Give me 2 seconds. I'm not going to pause the camera. Okay. Those two showed upright. Sorry, there was a whole bunch of cards that fell out onto the floor. So we have the Fool. We have the Five of Coins. What else for the environment? What else does air? I love the Two of Cups, by the way. What else does Aries need to know? What's going on in the environment? We have the Three of Coins, Four of Coins, and we have the Emperor. Beautiful. All right, for the Nine of Swords, what else does Aries need to know about this Nine of Swords? What's going on? We have the Seven of Cups. We have the Five of Cups and the Queen of Coins. Through another Three of Coins, we love that. Four of Swords, that peace of mind. Two of Swords. We have the Hermit, another Six of Wands. I love that for you. And Ten of Cups. Nine of Wands. Definitely feeling a lot of pushback and resistance. A lot of caution, but I don't know that you need to be. Yeah, there's fear that it won't succeed. Six of Cups. Okay, a lot of past stuff is coming through. Another Page of Wands. Eight of Swords. Seven of Wands, Ace of Cups. A lot of like contradiction stuff. This bottom row, we have the Ten of Wands. Three of Swords. Another Queen of Cups. Let's pull out one more for her. Queen of Swords. Okay, now she's looking at the King. Five of Wands. Two of Cups. Another Two of Coins. Ooh, okay, so the Nine of Swords is connected here. Ten of Swords. Strength. All right, well, this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive. So if you do want to join me, everything down below. Thank you so much, Aries. You guys know how much I love and adore you. Have an amazing month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, Aries. Welcome to your astrology reading for February 2023. So let's go ahead and delve in here. Now, I'm going to say this in every single video, but February is the month that I have been really excited about because we don't have any retrogrades anymore, and the planets that were retrograde throughout part of January are now starting to accelerate. Okay, they're gaining speed, specifically Mars and Uranus. And we don't have there's just not a lot of big events. Now we have a few conjunctions, which we're going to talk about, which are going to be very exciting. We also have Mars down here. Like I said, he is starting to speed up again, moving through his post-shadow phase. Now he will still be in in Gemini for all of February and most of March. So we still have a couple of months left with him here. And so this can be a really, really stimulating placement. And Aries, I think you're one of the people that are feeling it the most, like the most all over the place, or the most chaotic, or the least likely to focus. Just because the third house is very all over the place. It's like wants to go and collect a lot of information, but it's not really here. Third house is not here to like utilize that information. It's just about collecting it, absorbing it, making sure you understand it. Later on throughout 2023, you will have better transits that are going to be like, okay, let's really put this to good use. Let's do this. Let's implement, let's apply it. And then you'll have more effects. Okay. Now the big conjunctions that are really, full moon happening in Leo on the 5th. And that's happening at 16 degrees, 41 minutes of Leo. And then we have the new moon in Pisces happening on the 20th at 1 degree, 22 minutes. Okay. So just to kind of let you know that the 5th house is going to be highly illuminated with the lunar energy. And this is going to speak to your self-expression. Okay. It's going to speak to your authenticity. And are you being real? Because I think if you are wanting to succeed in your field, in your industry, in your career, in your relationships, whatever it is you're concerned about, if you're wanting to excel, you have to find a way to really I want to say fit in, but I don't mean like fit in by like playing by the rules. I want to see you like fit in by standing out. Right? Like the more authentic you are, Aries, the more passionate you are, the more vulnerable you are, the more likely you are to have people really wanting to connect with you, to do business with you, to learn from you, whatever the case may be. So I definitely recommend Aries practicing not holding back, not shying away, and just really letting their brightest side shine as brightly as it possibly can. Okay. Now the big conjunctions here, we have the sun coming into a conjunction with Saturn before it comes into Pisces. We have Venus coming into conjunction with Neptune. Now, Venus is in exaltation this month until the 20th when she enters Aries, and then she'll be in detriment. But she is in exaltation right now, which is really, really positive for her. And then we also have Jupiter in your sign, Aries, coming into this conjunction with Chiron. Now, let's start with Jupiter and Chiron, because we know that Jupiter is a benefic planet, and it often brings a lot of opportunity and good luck, good fortune, new types of people, all these types of really good things. But when he comes into conjunction with Chiron, he's going to amplify or magnify our pain points. Specifically for you, Aries, there could be something going on physically, because the first house does have a lot to do with our physical bodies. There could also be something going on in terms of your identity, your sense of self, and being heard. I think for you right now, Aries, being heard is a very important notion with Mars in this third house. You're wanting your voice to be heard. You're wanting your message to be heard. You're wanting your energy to be felt. And if there are woundings from childhood, where you have been shot down, where you were neglected, where you were overlooked, whatever the case may be, I do think that Jupiter is coming and magnifying that right now. And I said fitting in, quote unquote, like not really fitting in by like being like everybody else, but fitting in by standing out so strongly. Because I'm not saying Aries is a conformist, because that's definitely not what I would say or categorize Aries as. But I do think Chiron has, shown you that maybe you haven't really been fully out there. Maybe you haven't really fully been as true to yourself as you would like to be. And maybe there are still some things that you're needing to learn. Maybe there are still some things you're needing to learn about yourself, even so you can even be authentic. I think being authentic is almost, it can feel almost hostile sometimes. People are like, oh, just be authentic, just be yourself. It can almost feel like an aggressive attack, right? Sometimes you're like, well, who is that? Who is that? What does that even mean? And so I think you're coming into, new ideas of what that means for you. Who is this real person that is consistent all the time, regardless of the scenario in which it finds itself? That is the authentic self, the part that never, ever, ever strays. And bringing that more to the forefront. And I think by doing so, there will be a lot more. Now, 11th house is very supportive of 10th house success. So, and I know you've been a little bit isolated with Saturn coming through this 11th house the past couple of years, that you probably haven't really wanted to go out there and be with friends and socialize and do all these connections. And even if you did, maybe they didn't really work out that well, or they were misleading people, or whatever the case was. And so I think Aries has really kind of held themselves back, and maybe there were other responsibilities that were maybe more important than socializing. But I do know that social contacts very often can support the worldly ambitions, okay? So right now, your place in the bigger picture of everybody else is starting to come into focus. And you're starting to realize how important those contacts and those friendships and those associations truly are. And I think you are wanting more of it. You're wanting more of a community. You're wanting more of a network, more of people who are going to elevate you, and I think you had to see that within yourself first. And that's really what Jupiter coming into contact with Chiron is really showing us. Now, with Venus coming into contact with Neptune, now this is in a really dreamy house, okay? There's a lot of imagination that comes through here. Now, Aries, you may need to take some rest, okay? I don't want you to completely neglect if you do need extra sleep, or you do need to be a little bit on your own or unplug a little bit, please do that. But I do want you to pay attention to the desires that are starting to arise in your physical body, or in your mind, or in your heart. That all of a sudden, I think people who have been kind of sporadic, things are going to start to come into focus, and it's going to come into focus through a really ambitious desire. Neptune and Venus together, there are no limit. In the 12th house, there are no limits to what these two could dream up together. They can dream up the castle in the sky, the perfect life, the perfect relationship. They're really throwing that line way out there. And that's good. That's a really good thing, because it's challenging us. And I know Aries loves a good challenge, but it really is going to challenge you, Aries, to get your house in order to support that dream. This may be a 10-year, 20-year dream that you're like, wow, I don't even know where that came from. And all of a sudden now I'm picturing my life going that way. So now you have something to work with. You have something to aim for. And as you are thinking about this 10, 20 years from now, the sun coming into a conjunction with Saturn says, okay, well, then we need to build the support for this dream. Now, for you, Aries, and I know that Saturn is leaving next month, okay? In March, he's leaving Aquarius. But you're gonna have to understand, with the building quality of Saturn and the structural component, he really is the backbone, right, of our lives. And if we want to have a really strong structure, we are starting to understand the need for those social contacts and for that network, okay? For you especially, Aries, because it is happening in your 11th house. Now, when Saturn leaves, it will be easier for you to really nurture this aspect of your chart. It will be easier. And actually, with Pluto coming into the 11th house for the next few, 20 years, well, this is why I'm saying 20 years, there's going to be an incredible desire to do that. So I kind of like the fact that Saturn and Pluto are kind of connected. As Saturn leaves, Pluto enters. So Aquarius doesn't, wherever Aquarius is in our chart, which we all have, it's not really getting a break. So your social environment, your friendships, your affiliations, it's not getting a break. And where you've been pushing people away or isolating or cutting off toxic people or, completely reanalyzing and redesigning your social world, Pluto is going to come in and be like, all right, it's time to make this happen. Because this, for you, Aries, is where you are going to rise to power. That's what I always say with Pluto, is where we rise to power. Okay? And you're going to rise a lot higher than I think you can. And this is also going to be, really important to focus on your financials here for the next couple of years as well. And I know that North Node has made it really volatile and unpredictable, especially with Uranus. There's been a lot of weird stuff. We had Jupiter in Pisces for a lot of the year as well. But finances are going to start to improve for you, Aries, later on as Jupiter comes into Taurus. But I do think right now that's not happening until May. So for February, part of the structure and part of the understanding is how important your financial structure is as well. And getting that aspect of your life really, really buttoned up as tightly as you possibly can to support the growth that this dream is asking you to go after. Because this dream is no joke. This is really dreamy stuff, to the point where if you were to say to someone, this is my dream, they would look at you and think you were like out of your mind. Because what they would do is they would look at where you are and compare it to what you're saying you want, and they might immediately shut down, almost thinking like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they even had the audacity to even dream that. It's so huge. It's so big. But Aries, you know that the healing that's happening right now for you is also very foundational for what is yet to come. We've struggled with having foundation or building foundation in our life because of Pluto. A lot of people, it's like the one thing they desired more than anything, but somehow they were very afraid to go out and make it happen over the past 15 years. And that's starting to lift now. So we are more capable and more energized to get that foundation really, really solid. That has everything to do with our finances is huge, has everything to do with our careers and our work life and our family and our romantic relationships and all types of relationships. But, we are starting to find stability with those things. We are breaking apart our old stubborn nature with Taurus. And I know that this North Node Uranus portal is now officially closed, right? They're starting to, as Uranus moves direct and that North Node continues in that retrograde direction, they're going to start to pull apart from each other. So that portal, even the small incremental changes that you made, even if you didn't go all in on it quite yet, I know that there was definitely a split for some of you. It was like those of you who made the small incremental changes, you're now going to start seeing the benefit of that compound interest or that compound profit, right? Where people that didn't are just going to kind of keep slugging along, wishing that they had. Okay? But your healing is very important. I think that's going to be the biggest part of this for you, is really getting over any hiccups that you have about your identity, how you see yourself, and how you think other people see you. That perception is really weird. And if you're doing things because you think someone else thinks this about you, you're doing it completely backwards. This is about your authenticity with this full moon in Leo happening on the 5th. Your voice, your ideas, your creativity, your energy, your passion. This is about you, Aries, not anybody else. And the identity that the world gave you, it is starting to completely crumble. And this beautiful, authentic self is starting to emerge. It can be a painful process, but it's a beautiful process because by the end of it, you become more and more unstoppable. Okay? All right, Aries, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You guys know how much I love and adore you. Have an amazing month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.